Okay. I'm Kathy Wickham. I'm a friend of Jessica's.
I'm Allison Johnson. I'm a neighbor of Jessica's.
I'm Megan Brown, a friend of Jessica's.
I'm Amy Hudson, a friend of Jessica's.
I'm Ashton Johnson, a friend of Jessica's.
Okay. And my name is Jessica Gamez, and I'll be doing my persuasive speech over how a foreign language should be a requirement to graduate high school. Okay. Hola, hoy voy a hacer mi requisito de persuasivo para hacer un crédito para que sea un requisito para una escuela de secundaria, which means, hello, today I will be doing my persuasive speech on how a foreign language credit should be a requirement to graduate high school. As I'm speaking to you, you are able to understand me because you and I can both speak English. If I were to do this speech in Spanish, like I demonstrated at the beginning, you wouldn't be able to understand and you wouldn't get much out of it. Today, English is the third most spoken language in the world. According to infoplease.com, English is the third most spoken language in the world, behind Spanish at second and Chinese at the top. There are currently 6,500 spoken languages in the world today. English is slowly taking over, but have you noticed that in advertisements, movies, and other types of media have been transformed into other languages? Vocabulary.com says this happens because the United States is considered a melting pot. A melting pot is a society where many different cultures blend together as one and manage to coexist and live together. And I will pass out these. These are percentages of U.S. population who spoke other languages in their household. As you can see, they are increasing. Okay. The reasons you should know another language is because it can reduce Alzheimer's or delay it, it can improve test scores on standardized tests, and it can help you score a job. We'll start with our first reason. It can reduce Alzheimer's or delay it. A recent study done by Ellen Bilestock and her colleagues at York University tested out 450 people who had Alzheimer's, half of them being bilingual and half of them not. After researching their studies, they found out that they all had similar levels of cognitive impairment, but they noticed that the people who spoke two languages were about 4 years older. They also noticed that the bilingual people would have symptoms that began 5 years later. On a computed tomography brain scan, or a CT brain scan, they found out that the people who spoke two or more languages had farther more brain deterioration, but it turned out that their actions were compared to the ones if a monolingual person's disease was more advanced. This happens because after bilinguals get the disease, they still function, and this is because they use a brain network called the executive control system more. And Bilestock, the lady who did the research, found out that this is because they use parts of the prefrontal cortex and other parts of the brain, and it is the basis of our ability to think in complex ways. It also controls our attention and everything we think of. This is a benefit because this is a benefit because two languages, like when you learn them, you want to be able to separate them too, so you don't like speak your sentence half in English and half in Spanish, so you want to like separate them. And this is a cognitive benefit because when your brain takes over Alzheimer's, you'll be able to separate what is good or logical and what is bad in a better way. Secondly, it can help improve scores on standardized tests. The American Council on the Teachings of Foreign Languages found out that students who are learning another language or new to languages do better on science tests in the area of hypothesis. This helps those who are wanting to take the ACT or SAT tests because they will be able to predict what is going to happen and express their conclusions more in depth. Also, people who know two languages tend to outperform their peers who only know one language because their brain is exercised as they are going back and forth between what is like your native one and the other one. Also, the brain is exercised, and you will be able to know your language in a more meaningful and understandable way because you will break it up between structure and organization, and those are the key components of language. And then, as you get to know more and more words and phrases, if you don't know the structure and organization in which they go, you won't get the advantage of being fluent in it, because then it would just make no sense if you just say random words to a other person. And when you are learning a new language, you take a look at the vocabulary and grammar, and this is helpful because on the ACT there's a reading and English portion, and by knowing the vocabulary and grammar of your native language and the other language, you'll be able to take the passage apart and leave you with a better understanding, equaling and a higher score. And lastly, you'll be able to relate words. So while you're learning new words, like if you're learning blue and in Spanish it's azul, you'll be able to connect those, leaving you with better understanding. Finally, we'll move on to jobs. Okay, learning a third language can score you a job. When people lay other people off, they usually want to keep their most experienced people on board. So it is very important if you are bilingual to say that you, to put it on your resume, because it will likely stick out. And most managers will likely pick bilingual people over monolingual people because it will save them money from paying another person to be a translator. And FluentU.com says that translators are very high in demand because, like I said, instead of paying another person that salary, it can save you money, and it will help you communicate with competitors overseas or all over the world, and it can help you start up future businesses for your company. Some of the major businesses across the world are Brazil, Russia, India, and China. And if you know a second language, it displays strong work ethic and that you are dedicated, because some people who want to try to learn this second language, they're like, oh, this is too hard, and then they give up. So they're like, oh, this person's a hard worker. And if a company is looking for a translator, it is in the top 15 fastest job growing in the United States. And this will help them because if they get an email or a phone call, and then they'll be able to translate it to their employer, and they'll be able to understand. Okay. It is very valuable to know a second language because not only do you engage in the words and phrases, you also engage in that culture. So when your company is trying to sell a product, you will know if it'll be effective or not, and you will be able to know the customs. So when you take a business trip over there, in some cultures it is not acceptable to give a thumbs up or a wave, because that could mean something not good. And lastly, on salary.com it states that bilinguals get paid up to 5 to 20% more than monolingual people do per hour. And here's some locations and how high the bilingual people get paid over the monolingual people. And multilingualism is high in demand, and so students who graduate college don't usually have a hard time finding a job, because if they see that you're bilingual, they'll likely take you faster. And in conclusion, it is very beneficial to take a foreign language in high school because it will reduce Alzheimer's, it will improve test scores, leaving you with more money for college because scholarships, and it will help you score a job in the end. And when you are in high school, your brain is still processing, so it is much easier to learn. If you are an adult, then you'll have a little bit more trouble because your brain is already developed. And when you are deciding a major and that you are learning another language, it'll be much easier because it'll open a lot of job opportunities. And plus, in high school, it is free, technically free because if you go to a college, you'll have to pay for books, tuition, and so much other stuff that will come with that class. And so why not take it when you are in high school? And to conclude this, like, who wouldn't want to take something that will benefit them in the end? Good.